Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're shining a light, and yeah, pun absolutely intended on the whole world of DJ uplighting.
We've been digging through a recent DJ roundtable discussion, really trying to pull out all the bright ideas and the practical tips.
Exactly. Our sources are Buddy Mueller's intro to that show and the roundtable audio itself.
And our goal here really is to kind of illuminate the key insights, the techniques you need to know, and just the different ways DJs think about uplighting.
Yeah, we want to help you, whether you're a DJ or maybe just curious about what makes an event, visually pop, help you understand the power of it without getting totally bogged down in the tech stuff.
Right. We want to make it approachable.
Think of me as the enthusiastic explorer, pointing out the cool bits.
And I guess I'm trying to be the map maker, helping figure out how all these sometimes conflicting approaches fit together.
Okay, so let's get into it. What really jumped out at me first was just the sheer variety. How different DJs tackle something that on the surface might seem pretty straightforward.
That's a really key observation, yeah. Each DJ we heard from, they've kind of developed their own philosophy, right? Based on their experience, what they think lighting adds to an event.
So let's start with Buddy Mueller. He sort of set the stage for that whole discussion. What were his main ideas?
Buddy was really focused on creating atmosphere, that general feeling,
Like an overall mood.
Exactly. He talked specifically about bouncing light off walls, using that indirect light to illuminate the dance floor gently.
Okay, so that's our first kind of nugget.
Yeah.
The power of ambient wash. Using uplighting for the foundational mood, not like a spotlight.
Right, and he's a big fan of DMX-controlled wireless battery-operated lights. Huge plus for flexibility there.
Why specifically those?
Well, the DMX lets you change things on the fly, react to the music, set different moods. Wireless and battery just means clean setup, no messy cables, much faster.
Makes sense. And his use of color.
Oh, that was interesting. He sees it as an accent tool, something to enhance, not dominate.
Right. He specifically warned against, just bathing the whole room in solid purple.
Yeah, and being mindful of the venue's colors, even the food, what people might be wearing. You don't want the lighting to clash or make things look weird.
He had some great examples. That one about using blue for a winter theme. And then in the same venue, switching to amber for a fall vibe later. That really shows the transformative power.
Totally. And the story about changing the lights to green when the groom made that announcement about kidney donation.
Wow. Yeah. Talk about lighting with purpose. That's powerful.
It really shows that potential for emotional connection through thoughtful lighting design. It's not just decoration.
Okay, so that's Buddy's approach. Let's shift gears a bit. What about Matt from Solstice? His philosophy.
Matt leans more towards neutral, classic looks. Warm white is his go-to for uplighting.
Mostly neutral then.
Mostly. But he did mention using multiple colors sometimes, especially outdoors, to match flower arrangements, which sounds lovely.
That does sound nice. And he talked about the number of lights.
Yeah, he stressed having enough lights to actually make an impact. Said he typically brings at least 18.
18. Okay.
And here's another key difference. Matt includes uplighting in his package. It's not an add-on per light.
So bundling. Ensuring a certain visual standard for everyone.
Seems like it. And he mentioned all his uplights are independently DMX'd.
Which means, remind us.
Individual control. He can program each light separately, different colors, brightness levels, fades. Really detailed control.
Gotcha. Like having a dimmer and color wheel for every single fixture.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, then there was Jeff. He includes, 26 uplights for free? That's a lot.
It is a lot. A mix of smaller IR4 hexers and freedom pars, he said. But his perspective was different again. He sees uplighting as kind of secondary, easy to set up, not his main lighting focus.
Interesting. So for him, it's maybe less about intricate design and more about just adding some color easily.
Seems that way. His main lighting focus is the DJ booth and the wall behind it. Then he uses the uplights around the venue walls or columns as an extension of that.
Okay. And he brought up placing them on Colin's dance floor side versus the opposite side. Practical stuff.
Yeah, thinking about where the light actually falls and who sees it most directly. Little details.
Now, Hunter was totally different. He doesn't really use uplights typically, does he?
Right. That was fascinating. He prefers wash lights. He mentioned using shave watch 2s.
And those do what, exactly, compared to uplights?
Wash lights cast a much broader, more even field of light, so Hunter uses them to light up the whole dance floor area rather than shooting beams up the walls like uplights do.
So it's a completely different approach to creating that visual environment, a wide wash versus focused beams.
Exactly, a fundamental difference in philosophy. But he did say he would use his older plug-in pars as uplights if a client really wanted that specific ambient look.
So flexible, but with a clear preference. Shows you need to be adaptable.
Definitely.
All right, next up was Dwayne. He had a very specific take on uplighting.
He did. Dwayne's all about using uplights strategically, highlighting specific things, architectural details, points of interest, not just washing the whole room.
Okay, so targeted lighting.
Yeah. He mentioned preferring hex effects if he does need a broader wash because they produce more colors. And he specifically uses certain lights like So-It Slim quads behind the head table.
And color strips for the DJ scrims, the white fabric things.
To make the booth look clean and match the lighting. He also talked practicalities, having a mix of plug-in and battery lights, and really focusing on hiding wires for that clean look.
That tidiness factor keeps coming up.
It matters for a professional look. But what stood out with Dwayne was his sales approach.
How so?
He really sells uplighting as an enhancement, uses strong photos before and after shots, probably to show clients the difference it makes in their venue.
Visual proof. Makes sense.
And he mentioned uplighting the cake table specifically. Simple, effective way to draw the eye.
Yeah, that reinforces uplighting as a visual upgrade.
Yeah.
And you need to show people that value.
Exactly. Visual communication.
Okay, finally, we heard from Sean. What was his angle?
Sean's got a kind of tiered approach. He includes a basic set, 12 uplights, in his standard package.
What does he cover with those basic 12?
Mostly the DJ booth, totems, those lit up pillar things you sometimes see, and maybe a few accents on the dance floor edge.
Okay, a foundation.
Right. But then he actively sells bigger packages, whole room or enhancement deals, and he emphasizes the tech wireless DMX, independent control for every single light.
He has 48 lights, and they're all labeled.
Yeah, 48 labeled uplights. That labeling makes setting up complex sequences like chases where the light moves around the room much, much easier. Smart organizational tip there.
Definitely practical. What about his color choices?
Similar to Matt, actually. He prefers neutrals, warm whites, ambers for cocktail hour and dinner, creates that sophisticated vibe. But like the others, he's flexible. If a client wants pink or purple, he'll do it.
And he offers more than just uplighting.
Yeah, he mentioned pin spotting too, those tight beams on centerpieces or the cake. And monograms, projecting initials or logos.
Okay, expanding the lighting toolkit.
And here's another interesting bit from Sean. He proactively shows clients the potential. He scouts their venue online, uses software to create digital mock-ups.
Oh, wow. So he can show them, this is what your ballroom will look like with this lighting setup.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out for the client, helps them visualize the impact, and frankly, helps them sell the upgrade. It's about visualization and sales.
That's a really smart client-focused strategy, using tech to bridge that gap.
Very strategic. So, okay, looking across all these different DJs, all these philosophies, what are some of the big overarching themes or techniques that kept coming up?
Well, architectural uplighting was definitely one. The idea of using light to, enhance the room's features, not just sticking lights anywhere, highlighting columns, alcoves, cool ceilings.
Right, working with the venue's character.
And cable management, that came up a lot. People mentioned Velcro ties. Someone named Tyler W. Wallace apparently makes 3D printed cable clips.
Yeah, the quest for the perfect cable solution.
And the debate. Gravity clips, Velcro, zip ties, what's best? But the underlying point was clear. Keep it clean, keep it safe. It's part of professionalism.
Absolutely. That attention to detail, it separates the pros.
DMX control is another big one. Lots of mentions of its importance for dynamic changes, controlling individual lights.
Yeah, it unlocks so much creative potential, changing colors for different parts of the night, syncing to music, creating movement.
And color choice, we talked about that.
Yeah.
The advice seemed to be avoid really strong saturated colors like solid blue or green for general room lighting, especially during dinner. They can make food look unappetizing.
But using color intentionally, that was key. Like Buddy's themes, blue for winter, amber for fall, or the green for the kidney foundation moment. That shows the power when used thoughtfully.
And the suggestion of neutral warm white for cocktails and dinner seems like a solid baseline. Sophisticated, unobtrusive.
Agreed. Then there's placement strategy. It's not just how many lights, like Matt said, it's where you put them.
Right. Highlighting the head table, the cake, the entrance. Thinking about the DJ booth itself, uplighting behind it, can make the whole setup look more integrated and professional.
And the number of lights really should depend on the venue, shouldn't it? Not just a fixed package number. Some rooms need more, some need fewer to look good.
Exactly. And we also heard about layering uplighting with other lighting. Totems, moving heads, projecting patterns, those wash lights Hunter uses, pin spots, monograms.
Yeah, creating a whole visual experience, not just relying on one type of light. And the conversation touched on newer tech too, like those tube lights, 360 tubes, astro tubes.
Right, what was the reaction there?
Kind of initial excitement, exploring the potential, people see cool effects are possible, but also comparing them. Astro tubes are apparently much brighter, industry standard in film. Someone mentioned seeing them in John Wick 4.
Huh, okay, so maybe different use cases. But the idea of using even simpler tube lights, just for a bit of ambiance, even when lighting wasn't a major request, that's interesting.
It shows a proactive approach, always thinking about enhancing the visual and using projectors for things beyond monograms, like that example of putting a school mascot on some rocks. That's creative personalization.
That is cool. Very specific.
All of this really points to the value of uplighting, doesn't it? It's way more than just functional light.
Yeah, it enhances the whole mood, the look and feel, creates that eye candy, as Dwayne put it. It helps DJs stand out.
And can even lead to venue referrals if you make their space look amazing consistently.
So thinking about different events, weddings seem like a natural fit. Themes, highlighting the cake and head table, monograms.
Totally. And for corporate events, using company colors in the lighting, maybe creating that paparazzi flash effect for speakers entering, adds polish.
Good point. Even for school dances, thinking about lighting the dance floor effectively without, blinding the kids.
Right, adapting the techniques. And you could see applications in clubs, too, for setting specific moods.
So as we sort of wrap up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be that uplighting is a really valuable tool. It can significantly boost almost any event.
Without a doubt. But the key, the absolute key, is balance. Knowing how to use light for impact, but also knowing when not to. Avoiding that overlit, flat look.
Understanding ambiance and restraint.
Exactly.
So for you listening, we hope this has illuminated the possibilities. Pardon the pun again.
We hope it gave you a clearer picture of the strategy and thought that goes into good lighting design.
Yeah, maybe think about how these ideas could apply to your next event, whether you're a DJ refining your craft or someone planning something special and just appreciating the visuals more.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. What kind of uplighting do you personally find most impactful? Have you seen any really unique, imaginative uses of it lately? Or can you think of some?
Good questions. So to quickly recap our journey today, uplighting isn't just sticking lights around. It's strategic, it's creative, it's about crafting ambiance and really elevating the whole experience.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into DJ uplighting. We hope you found it insightful.
And maybe even a little illuminating.
Okay, one last.
Add to. We look forward to our next exploration together. Until then, keep those creative lights shining.